Okay, we are going to look at the levels of service model and how it works with diverse students. A quick overview of the model shows that its approach to programming for talent development seeks to identify and develop high-level abilities, talents, and sustained interests. There are 6 foundational programming areas within this model. There are more, but these are the foundational ones: differentiating basics, effective acceleration, appropriate enrichment, independent self-directed learning, personal growth and social development, career exploration with a futuristic perspective. And just judging by their use of adjectives, it seems like this model is going to be good. The first way that we're going to analyze how this model would work with diverse students is to look at the structure of the model. So if you notice here, it begins with services for all students, and then it works its way down to services for a few students. The thing that is very important and awesome about this model is that it wants to be a school-wide all-student model in the beginning, and then work its way down to a few students that have that sustained interest or high ability level. Okay, but we're not really testing and using the identification process of gifted that you would typically see within other models. The next way we're going to look at the analysis of how this could be used with diverse students would be to look at what it was influenced by. So the first one here is huge to me: expanding conceptions of intelligence and talent. They're expanding their conception of what it means to have talent, to be intelligent, without explicitly saying that we are trying to get more of a diverse population of students. This is about as close as you could come to saying that is what you were trying to do. Style-based instruction. So understanding that not all students work with just one style of instruction. So we're going to vary our instruction. And lastly, environmental and contextual factors are huge as well. Final considerations for why this model would work. I pulled a couple quotes from the article that was shared from our instructor on Blackboard. This first one seemed pretty important. They're acknowledging the fact that significant potential exists among many more students than have traditionally been identified and served in academic content areas in many talent domains. Again, they're saying, look, more than just whatever you've been identifying in the past have talent and intelligence, and we're going to reach those students. Again, just another quote: the levels of service programming serves a shifting population of students. Because they work with all students, and depending on what they might be doing that at that time, they're not going to have the same students. Whereas like in other schools, you would have your same 5 to 10, 20 to 30 gifted students working with whatever activity you're doing, and the population doesn't really change. Within levels of service, it's a shifting population. It could be the entire school, and with one activity, you could have this 40 kids that are super interested in this and that want to go on, and then your next, you could have a completely different population of students. Next, the levels of service programming strives to be woven into the school, which maybe there's a little bit of controversy on that, but it does kind of feel like traditional gifted programs are not woven into the school. They have a resource room, a pull-out room, or these kids are getting pulled from class to work in another room. And then what are the other kids thinking? So if you're trying to have a gifted programming model that is woven into the school, that seems like a good start at getting more of those diverse students that you wouldn't typically get. It's more inclusionary, which I don't know if that's a word, but it includes more students. Lastly, we'll talk about the testing and identification for gifted. It seems like this model doesn't really test or identify in the traditional way for gifted students. I'm sure it's still allowed. I did not see anything about testing and identification, but they're not using that, which I like. I really like. It's a breath of fresh air. Um, so I think that would be another way of getting more students in there without needing that gifted label. So overall, this model never really explicitly says, look, we're trying to get people from diverse cultural backgrounds. We're trying to get low SES families and students in our programs. It doesn't need to say it. And it doesn't need to say it because it's working for all students.